Why Red Bull hasn't been able to move on from the Max Verstappen? Maximilian Verstappen is a Belgian driver of Dutch descent and the 2021 and 2022 Formula One world champion. He races under the Dutch flag in Formula One with Red Bull Racing. Verstappen is the son of driver Jos Verstappen, who has also competed in Formula One, and Sophie Kumpen. He has enjoyed a successful career in the single-seat and children's kart racing categories, including the KF3, WSK World Series, KZ2, and European Formula 3, beating multiple records. At the 2015 Australian Grand Prix, 17 years and 166 days, he became the youngest, ending the 2015 season with Scuderia Toro Rosso. Verstappen began the 2016 campaign with the Italian team before being promoted to parent team Red Bull Racing after 4 races to replace Daniel Kvyat. Want to know about it in detail? Well, stay tuned till the end. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we will talk about why Red Bull hasn't been able to move on from the Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. That being done, let's start. At the age of 18, he won the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix in his Red Bull Racing debut, becoming the youngest driver in history and the first Dutch driver to win a Formula One Grand Prix. After winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix 2021, Verstappen became the first Dutch driver to win the Formula One World Championship and the 34th Formula One Drivers' World Champion. He won his second consecutive Formula One championship the following season. At the 2022 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Verstappen claimed 35 wins and 20 pole positions. He scored his first career hat-trick at the 2021 French Grand Prix and his first Grand Slam at the 2021 Austrian Grand Prix. He scored his second Grand Slam at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix 2022. Verstappen is expected to stay at Red Bull until at least the end of the 2028 season after signing a contract extension. During the first practice session of the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix, Verstappen replaced Jean-Eric Vergne as part of his preparations for the full-time seat at Toro Rosso for the 2015 season. At the age of 17 years and 3 days, Verstappen is the youngest person in history to participate in a Formula One race weekend. In August 2014, Verstappen joined the Red Bull Junior team after test driving a Formula Renault 3.5 car. He has also considered an offer from Mercedes to join their driver development program. Verstappen became the youngest driver to start a world championship race when he joined Toro Rosso's team with Carlos Sainz as his teammate on his Grand Prix debut as a full-time driver. At the 2015 Australian Grand Prix, at the age of 17 years, 166 days, breaking the existing record of Jane Alguersuari by almost 2 years. In that first race, Verstappen raced in scoring positions until he was forced to retire due to engine failure. However, in the next race in Malaysia, Verstappen qualified for 6th place and finished the race in 7th place, scoring his first Formula One point at the age of 17 years and 180 days, breaking the record for a young driver, the highest score at the World Championships. At the 2015 Monaco Grand Prix, Verstappen was involved in a high-speed collision with Romain Grosjean. After hitting the rear of Grosjean's Lotus on the first narrow approach, Saint-Devote, and crashing into the high-speed barrier. Verstappen received a 5-place grid penalty for causing the crash and was called dangerous by Williams driver Felipe Massa. Verstappen went on to finish consistently in points, as well as the best finish of the 2015 season in Hungary, by finishing 4th and matching that result at the United States Grand Prix. At the end of the season, Verstappen received 3 awards at the FIA Awards for Rookie of the Year, Person of the Year, and Action of the Year, for beating Felipe Nasser outside the Blanchimont corner at the Belgian Grand Prix. Verstappen started the 2016 season at Toro Rosso, still with Sainz. Verstappen made it through the 5th qualifying round for the inaugural race of the season in Australia, but during the race made several radio calls to his team due to the frustration of being trailed behind by Sainz on the track before Toro Rosso de Verstappen made contact with his teammate's car as he tried to overtake him for 3 more laps, and he ended up finishing 10th. Verstappen had a more successful weekend at the next race in Bahrain, finishing 6th to score the first point for Toro Rosso at the Sakir circuit. On 5 May 2016, after the Russian Grand Prix, Red Bull Racing announced that Verstappen would replace Daniel Kvyat from the Spanish Grand Prix, Kvyat returning to Toro Rosso. According to Christian Horner, Red Bull team principal, Max has proven to be an outstanding young talent. His performance at Toro Rosso so far has been impressive, and we are delighted to give him the opportunity. Driving for Red Bull Racing. After qualifying for the 4th round of the Spanish Grand Prix, Verstappen moved up to 2nd place behind teammate Daniel Ricciardo in the opening round after Mercedes teammates Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg were knocked out of the tournament race. Verstappen took the lead when he adopted a 2-stop strategy instead of the 3-stop strategy like Ricciardo, and he held off Ferrari's Kimi Räikkönen in the final stages of the race to take his first win in Formula One. So he replaced Sebastian Vettel as the youngest driver to win a Formula One Grand Prix at the age of 18 years 228 days. In his first 8 races with Red Bull, he achieved 6 top 5 finishes, including 4 on the podium. At the Belgian Grand Prix, Verstappen collided with Räikkönen in the first corner, pushing Vettel, Räikkönen, and Perez away at Les Combes, while aggressively intercepting Räikkönen in the Kemmel line. Verstappen has been criticized for his driving behavior, with Räikkönen saying he is sooner or later going to cause a big accident. Christian Horner notes that driving is on the edge of the knife and Verstappen will look into it and learn from it for future races. In September, Formula One boss Charlie Whiting phoned Verstappen to chat, then issued a mild warning to him for his aggressive driving behavior. In October, however, motorists' concerns about Verstappen's defensive tactics prompted the FIA to ban cruises under heavy braking. At the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix, Verstappen qualified for the 4th round. During a race affected by rain, he nearly hit a barrier after skidding on the main line due to loss of traction, causing overdrive. After changing the extra tire from medium to wet, he raced in 16th place with just 15 laps left. Verstappen then made some quick passes in the final laps to finally finish on the podium in 3rd place. He received rave reviews for his performance. Mercedes rival team leader Toto Wolff called it the Verstappen show and described Verstappen's driving as physical, being redefined. However, Verstappen was criticized by 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, who said Verstappen pushed him off the track at Junzhou corner towards the end of the race. The race marshals disagreed with Vettel and decided not. In the first 14 races of the 2017 season, Verstappen had to miss 7 times, 4 due to mechanical problems and 3 due to collisions in the first round in Spain, Austria, and Singapore. However, of the races he has completed, he has taken 3rd place in China, and in the other 5 races, he has finished 4th or 5th. Starting with the Malaysian Grand Prix, Verstappen has enjoyed much success. He won a Formula One race for the 2nd time at the 2017 Malaysian Grand Prix, a day after his 20th birthday, then overtook 3-time champion Lewis Hamilton to take the lead in the race. The beginning of the race, he finished 2nd in the next race in Japan. He then finished 3rd at the United States Grand Prix, but was placed 4th after his last lap past Kimi Räikkönen was deemed illegal. He won the Formula One race for the 3rd time at the Mexican Grand Prix, after overtaking Sebastian Vettel in the opening round. When Sergio Perez tried to get close to Charles Leclerc as they scrambled for P2 in the final stages of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the Mexican ended up missing out. Max Verstappen, who finished 8 seconds ahead of Leclerc, explained why Red Bull didn't ask him to step back to help Sergio Perez close in on Charles Leclerc at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Perez is chasing Leclerc towards the end of the race as they vie for P2, both for race place and the World Championship, while Verstappen leads. Despite shortening the distance to less than 2 seconds, in the end, Perez still could not catch up with Leclerc and had to accept P3. After the race, when asked if he had ever been asked to step back to try to hold Leclerc and thus help Perez move, Verstappen admitted that had not been taken into account. "No, there isn't, but it's also a pretty difficult decision to make," Verstappen told the media, including, "You don't want to finish either. Of course, you can block, but is that a fair race? I don't think it's the best way to end the season like this. While Verstappen didn't act, he still managed to keep track of what was happening with his teammates. Looks like Chico caught him enough to try to move, but then he lost a fair amount of time with a bit of a ruckus between, perhaps Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon. The Dutch continued. We'll see you at the next one. Until then, peace.